Hello, everyone. I am so happy I get to be here again with you guys to talk more about patterns. So here we are. Our objective is the same. We can identify, describe, extend, create, and transfer growing and repeating patterns. Whew, that is a long sentence. And this lesson and learning about patterns is standard 1.14, and that is almost the same. So we are working to master this standard. So let's activate your brain. Let's get your brain ready and remind it what you already know. So we've already seen this about patterns. We know that a repeating pattern has the same core repeating over and over again, just like this one. Circle, square, circle, square, circle, square, circle. We know that the core is circle, square, and that is repeating over and over again. And that is the core. We also learned about to transfer a repeating pattern. So we can transfer and even transform, just like transformers, into something different. So instead of using shapes, we can use numbers, or instead of using pictures, we can use letters. You can transfer any sort of pattern with a different type of thing. And today, this is what we're going to be learning about, a growing pattern. Growing pattern. Right here, that's what we're going to figure out. So let's watch this quick video about growing patterns.
Hello grade 1. Today we continue our work on patterns, but today it's a bit different. Today we are growing patterns, and we're going to use shapes rather than numbers. This pattern uses squares. We can see the first one just has one square. The next one has two squares, then three, and finally 4. So what would be next if we wanted to grow or extend this pattern? Have a quick think. What answer did you get? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Easy, right? But not all patterns look the same. This one would have the same numbers. The circles would have 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and if we were to grow the pattern, it would have 5 circles, but it would look very different to the one before. This pattern is different again. It shows the size of the fish when it's 1 week old, 2 weeks old, and 3 weeks old. So have a quick think, what would the fish look like when it is 4 weeks old? Do you have a picture in your head yet? Let's have a look at what it would look like. So this time we're just looking at the orange squares because the red trapezoids stay the same. So when it's your turn, you need to be careful. Look at all the details of the shape. Not all the shapes will get bigger. Not all the shapes.
So let's figure it out. What is a growing pattern? A growing pattern. Look at this pattern. Cupcake, basketball, cat. Cupcake, basketball, basketball, cat. Cupcake, basketball, 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 cat. What do you notice? What's growing? I noticed that our cupcake, basketball, cat, those keep repeating, but something's changing each time the pattern repeats. Each time the pattern repeats, we are adding one more basketball. So on the first time in the core, there's just one basketball. The second time we do the pattern, there are 2 basketballs. And the third time that we repeat the pattern, there are 3 basketballs. So the pattern is growing. Patterns can get tricky. You gotta pay close attention. So let's keep practicing. Let's look at this pattern. Triangle, square. Triangle, triangle, square. Triangle, 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 square. Triangle. What is growing in this pattern? Every time the pattern repeats, this triangle, square, there's only one triangle, or there's only one square every time it repeats. So the triangles, we can see that the triangles are repeating. The first time there was just one, and then every time the pattern repeats, one more triangle is added. So we know the triangles are growing. We notice that those little squares, those aren't changing. So we know that the triangles are what is changing and growing. So what comes next? There was one triangle here, 2 triangles, 3 triangles in this pattern, or this part of the pattern. So how many triangles do you think we will need to extend this pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. Awesome. So let's count all 4 triangles. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we know there's another square because we understand how the pattern repeats. Very good, my friends. Oh, this is an important one I really want to practice. Sometimes when kids see patterns with numbers like this, it makes them a little scared. And I want to tell you, don't be scared. Don't let this trick you. You got this. If you don't like how these numbers look, we can always change it. But let's look closely. Look at the pattern. 8, 8, 4. 8, 8, 4. 4. 8, 8, 4, 4, 4. What's growing? What do you notice? This question, what do you notice? That's a great way to help your brain think about it. So I'm noticing there are 2 8s, 2 8s, 2 8s. There's always 2 8s, so the 8s are not growing. Let's look at the other shape or number that is in this pattern. 4, there's 1 4 on this part of the pattern. Oh, and then in this next part, there are 2 4s. And then the next part, there are 3 4s. So I can see that the 4s are growing. So let's keep this pattern going. We already had 1 8 8 4, 8 8, and 2 4s. So we added 1 more 4, 2 8s. We know that's part of the core. And then 1 4 2 3 4s. So now our pattern starts again. 8 8, 4 4. And we don't have any more room. So if we were to have more room, we would have 4 of the number 4s. Whew, numbers make it tricky sometimes. So let's transfer this number pattern into a shape pattern. Sometimes if a pattern or something doesn't look right for your brain, you can make it work for you. Maybe it will help looking at it in a different way, transferring the pattern into a different representation. Just like the Transformer guy. He's a funny guy. So let's do it. Let's use shapes to transfer this pattern. So for 8, let's use hearts. Heart, heart. These are the same number, so we'll use the same shape. And let's use a rectangle for 4. So let's keep doing it. 8, 8, or heart, heart, rectangle, rectangle. We have 2 rectangles. 8, or heart, heart. We know that there are 2 hearts. That's not growing. Rectangle, rectangle, rectangle. So now we have 3 rectangles. This time the pattern repeated. Okay, what's next? Good job, 2 hearts. And remember last time our pattern, we just didn't have enough room to keep it going on the screen. So how many rectangles will we need? We have 1 rectangle, 2 rectangles, 3 rectangles. We know that it's growing by 1 more rectangle each time. Good work. Yes, we need 4 more rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good work. So maybe when you looked at the pattern with numbers, it made your brain confused and it just didn't work for your brain. That's okay. You can always represent math to make it work for your brain. That's the best part about math. So let's remind our brain everything that we learned today. We've learned a lot about patterns. We've learned that repeating patterns where the core repeats over and over and over again. We've learned about growing patterns and that something about the pattern is growing and you have to figure out how it is and how to keep it going and how to extend the pattern. We've learned that the core is the part of the pattern that repeats. And we've learned how to transfer a repeating pattern and transform patterns using maybe letters or numbers or shapes, and maybe you're making sounds with your body for patterns. There are always many, many different ways that you can transfer a pattern to make it work for you. There's that guy again. He's just silly. And growing patterns. That was our focus today. You guys rocked at that. Wow, my friends, you rock. Look how silly this is. I just thought that was fun because that was a lot of hard work, and I hope you thought this dancing ballet transformer was funny. So today, my friends, let's review. Today, you identified, described, extended, created, and transferred growing and repeating patterns. Holy moly, that was a lot of work. Then you guys are doing great things and you are working hard at mastering standard 1.14. So after you have done your work, you can add 30 minutes to your math attendance for participating in this class. Good work, my friends. If you would like some more practice, there's optional practice. Here is another website that has some really fun pattern games that you can practice on. And then this one, just like last time, challenge your learning coach, challenge your friends. Can you extend and can they extend your patterns? Can you extend theirs? Could you transfer their patterns? Can they transfer yours? I don't know. Maybe you can challenge them. Good work, my friends. I hope to see you soon and learn all about your patterns in your Class Connects and talk about them more. Good work today.